I'm going to do a quick tutorial on any percent for Wolverine. A very cheap game. You can get it on eBay for $10 to $15. The game is not too complicated. The first thing to note is that when you press select, your claws come out, but they can only come out when you have green health. So you can see the health bar is called strength at the bottom. When you attack with your claws, your health goes down. If you run out, then your claws disappear. If you die in this game, you lose one of your lives, and you respawn where you were last standing on solid ground. So if I just fall off the edge here, when I kill myself, it's going to be where I was last standing. The game is constantly trying to update your position. When you game over and you use a continue, it brings you right back to where you died. So it's very forgiving as far as deaths go. When you play through a stage, what you want to do is you want to get to the end, and you want to have as little health as possible. So I have a lot of extra health here. So you heard the jingle end, and it just went da-da-da-da-da, and you had to wait for that entire bar to disappear. Every time you end a stage, it will do that for your entire health bar and your berserker bar. So every hamburger you pick up, every person you kill, these are all going to increase your health or berserker. So every stage, if you watch the routes that are currently up on any percent records, they all have you run through enemies and kill only certain enemies, so that way your berserker bar actually depletes and your health depletes to a point to where it won't cost you any time. The first stage is pretty simple. You want to jump and swing your claw every time you jump. On these platforms, you want to be on the farthest right pixel possible. And the reason why is that if you're on the farthest right pixel, that guy up at the top will spawn and he shoots a projectile at you. In this game, every projectile does exactly 2 damage. So you can see that I'm going to lose 2 full green bars there. The bullet that guy shoots at you is just enough to allow you to grab this burger and then go into this hidden warp. There are 3 warps in the game in levels 1, 4, and 5. In any percent, we only use the ones in level 1 and 4 because we skipped level 5. But they're entirely invisible. You have to press up to enter them. You can't hold up, so it does have a little bit of timing. Level 1 is very easy. I reset there a lot because I try to go I try to go as quickly as possible, and I try to match the tasks. You do not have to do that. There are plenty of time saves throughout the game. It's just something silly that I do. So level 2 is pretty straightforward. All of the time saves are going to be these green platforms. You want to stay on the platforms that have the magnets pulling you towards the direction you want to go as long as possible. And you want to jump off them as quickly as possible when they aren't taking you the right way. The other thing you want to watch out for is touching a platform when you're jumping. So if you jump and you tap your foot like that, that is a time loss every time. And it doesn't seem like much, but it does add up because you'll find yourself losing a second or 2. Something to kind of use as a visual cue are these pillars in the background, like these blue and white things. So as I'm playing through this stage, I can do the shortest jump at that blue bar, and every time I will land there. So right here is the first major decision you have. There's a 1-up here. If you jump off the edge, you can grab it. I suggest grabbing it until you're going for like sub 636, because you lose virtually no time at all. The reason you lose time grabbing that 1-up, even though you're still moving to the right, is that you lose time the longer you are in the air in this game. Whenever Wolverine is running, he's moving at 2 pixels each movement, but in the air, he alternates between 1 and 2. And there's just a hidden RNG counter that is determining how fast you move in the air or how fast you swim. So you want to stay out of the air and out of the water, and you want to be running for as long as possible. So 99% of the time saves are going to be jumping and landing at the edge of a platform, so you're in the air as little as possible. So you want to grab the 1-up, and the rest is just running through things. So now you see that I got shot by that guy there and I lost 2 health. You don't lose that much time jumping over enemies like that. So if you make a mistake and you have too much health, you can just jump and stab your claw. If you go, oh no, I don't have enough, just jump over an enemy and keep going. You don't lose hardly any time at all. One thing you want to avoid is killing enemies that you run into. So if you have low health, you go, oh, I need to kill that guy. Well, you'll do that, but your Berserker bar fills up, and it doesn't drain until you take more damage. Since you're avoiding damage, by filling up your Berserker bar, you're adding a time loss at the end, so it's faster just to jump over them virtually every time. The only thing left in this stage is right at the end. So this is kind of a tricky part if you want to do it as quickly as possible. The smart thing to do is just to do a short jump and another short jump, and you land on the door, and then you exit. This, you lose like 0.1 if you do that, so I would ignore this next part, but if you want to get every possible frame, you jump and you want to tap this edge right there, and you want to bounce. That was actually the bad bounce. There it is. So if you jump and you hit a hard edge, Wolverine gets forward momentum, and that'll launch him forward. It's used for a few time saves in the game, but it's never very much. So if you see that in a speed run, you can ignore it unless you're going for really, really fast times. So level 3 is pretty tricky. This first guy, you want to jump right here, so in between these 2 tiles, and then you kill him as you're landing. You shouldn't take any damage like that. That is the ideal outcome of that scenario. You do not need to use claws. Claws do 2 damage and your regular punch does 1. But regular punch kills most enemies in this game just fine. So there are a series of traps in this stage. Axes, rocks, spike platforms, and you're going to ignore most of them. Your goal in this is to get to the very end segment with 3 full red bars, but this is a little bit RNG. It's not entirely RNG because it's based off of your position. These rocks that show up, they will launch in different ways based off of how you have moved elsewhere in the stage. So if I had gotten here faster, I'm going to get a different pattern. So as you play more often, you're going to kind of get into a flow in the stage, and you'll be able to predict what the rocks are going to do based on your pace from the previous section. So if you want to save health, you can always just run forward and wiggle backwards. You're going to lose a little bit of time doing that, but if you have trouble dying here, that's an easy way to save a lot of health. When you get to this section, you want to jump at the center of the second black square here, and you want to do a jump that doesn't bang your head on the top. You want to kind of, it's hard from a safe state, you want to move over that guy. There we go. Like that. And your goal here for these platforms is to jump as quickly as possible off of the edge of the platforms. So you'll see that I actually didn't jump on top of this platform, I kind of teleported up there. And the reason why is that Wolverine's feet don't determine whether or not you get on top of the platform or not. It's like his butt, or his waist. So if you jump, and you're at the right height, you just kind of teleport up there. And this is actually a time save. So you can practice with jump heights to do that. So this section here is the trickiest section in stage 3. You're supposed to jump here, jump up here, and you want to land on this edge so that rock doesn't hit you, and then you jump over again. You don't actually have to slow down. I don't think I can even do it once. This is kind of a task thing. But you have to land on the farthest right pixel. And then get the right height jump, and then jump again. So what we all do is we just kind of jump, tap left, and then tap left again. You jump over this guy's shuriken, do a short jump right off the edge. It looks like the spike is damaging you, but it's not, you're fine. And then you want to jump off these platforms and jump up here. If you lose time on this, you're going to take a whole lot of extra damage because that guy's going to run forward and into you. So you want to do this correctly. Now you'll notice that I jumped off of nothing there. That is a task jump. It is a one-frame jump you can do, which is easier said than done. But you don't have to do it. So if you see that stuff, you can always just wait till you land. So at the end of this, I now have 3 health, which is exactly what I want, and the reason why is that I can run into this guy. He's going to throw his shuriken, which does 2 damage, then I can jump, and I have no health, and I make it to the end. But if something goes wrong, like if I do that, for whatever reason, and I take a hit from the axe, give me extra damage. When I get here, the run's still not over, I just have to jump and kill that guy, and that's it. On that second stair there is a hidden trap that only comes up if something goes wrong. So if I jump off of that guy, that trap is going to pop up. We don't know exactly what causes it. What we do know is that if you jump high enough, most of the time it appears, so we try not to. We just run forward, jump, move forward, and get back in the door. Level 4 is probably the most challenging stage in the game, like when you're first learning. So level 4 is all about health management. You just kind of walk through, and when you're here, you want to be as far left as you can without touching these screws. And the moment you get below the last screw, you want to hold left, and you want to mash B and bounce into the screw above. So if you just try to like hold B, try to space yourself between them, it's possible, but it's like 1 pixel wide. So I wouldn't recommend it. Just mash, and then generally you're going to get somewhere between 4 red bars and 4 red bars with 2 green. What determines this is how long you're inside the hitbox of that thing at the bottom. And this is somewhat RNG, because if you're moving at 2 pixels per unit of movement, you're going to get out of there faster, but that's totally determined by an RNG counter in the back. Once you get through this section, you're going to fall in the water. And right here, Wolverine's hat will stop you from moving forward. Everyone bumps their head here at least once. So you just want to kind of tap like this. You don't have to mash it, it's just tap, 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 and you can slide underneath. And when you jump over, you're going to hit this bubble here. It's going to do 2 damage to you, which, if something went wrong earlier in the stage, this could kill you. So if this happens, and you want to avoid this, what you do is you go farther to the right. If I can do it now. And any sort of hesitation or delay will allow you to dodge the bubble. And so what going farther to the right does is it allows it to spawn, and the bubble, since it's tracking your position, is going to move lower, which allows you to jump over it. If you ever jump over the bubble, you have lost time to do so. It's not possible to jump over the bubble while moving as quickly as possible, but you lose hardly any time skipping the bubble. So if you have trouble dying with death in this stage, then just do the bubble skip. So these are the screw jumps, and there's 3 ways to do it. I'll go ahead and time it so you can kind of see the differences. See if I can do it right. So the easiest way is just fall in the water and jump. So that took 5 seconds exactly to fall in the water the final time. The way you're supposed to do it is jumping between each of those platforms And you'll notice it's only a 0.15 difference. So if you're learning this for a marathon, or if you have trouble with taking damage from the screws, or if it hurts your hand or anything, remove the screw jumps. You can save a little bit more time with that by doing this method. So this is going to look fairly similar, but you're going to hear a bad noise when I hit the screws. Whoops. So, that's a little bit faster, even though I fell in the water in the end. But all I'm doing there, if I can do it right, I am recording this, and I will be highlighting it and posting it as a guide in the speedrun page for the game. But this third option is just ignoring the fact that you're taking health damage from the screws, and you hold right when you land here, and you focus on jumping as quickly as possible. There we go. That's 4.64. So now it's closer to half a second loss compared to falling in the water. But I just kind of wanted to highlight that because this was something I had a lot of trouble with when I was first starting. I would always fall in the water, and in my current world record run, I actually fell in the water at the very end. I was like, okay, I'll take it. It's a time loss, but very, very tiny. So if you have trouble with that section, fall in the water and jump. It can actually be faster than if you miss a jump. So if you do something like this, that was 5:05, and that was just me delaying slightly for each jump. So if I'm not on the ball, I'm going to lose time to someone who just falls in the water and is mashing as quickly as possible. So this next section is the thing that gets everybody killed. And you just kind of want to follow this path here. And when you fall in the water, you want to look at your health. I have 3 health, which is great, because you're going to have to go through a bubble, which deals 2 damage. If you don't have more than 2 health, you'll die, and you have to skip it, which costs about a second. So, how you do this section is you do a short hop and land and kill him. It's kind of like a medium jump, short hop here, full jump, and then you jump again. And you'll notice that I took a bunch of damage there, and what I took damage from was a bullet that the last guy shot. So if you get to this point and you look at your health and you realize, I've only got 3 health. If I take a shot from that guy, it's going to do 2 damage, and then the bubble's going to do 2 damage, so I'm going to die, I'm going to have to skip it. How do I fix this? What you do is you follow as normal, and you do that. You just kind of wiggle backwards and jump. And that will not cost you all that much time. It's literally just frames that you lose. But you'll be able to save over 2 blocks of health doing that. So instead of losing all of that health, like I lost 2 and like a third, 2/3 of my health. So there I actually got lucky. I jumped and I dodged the bullet. I haven't been able to do that consistently, and it's always fastest to jump on those blue platforms as quickly as possible. But if you follow any of the world record routes, you'll see a couple of variations on how to do that section, but the way I'm doing it here seems to be the most consistent. It's not the fastest. The fastest involves you running through several bubbles and only short hopping over the bullets that the enemies fire and running through them, but it requires you to have way more health after the first section, which I haven't been able to do consistently. This section here, you can just swim through, but you're going to lose a little bit of time. What you'll do instead is you mash up to the top and you want to do 3 jumps. Now, Wolverine has multiple jump heights. I can't remember how many he has off the top of his head, but you want to do the shortest jump height, which kind of like lets you fly over the water without bonking your head like that. So you just want to go up and just tap it as quickly as possible, and you'll do that. And as you practice this, you'll kind of feel that jump. You're like, oh, that's the right jump. I like to do that one first, and then once I get that one, you can just kind of bonk your head. Now, I did another short jump, and I got more distance by doing so, but because I did that, I bonked my head against the wall here, and I lose time. So you just do 2 short jumps, and then you can make it through. The warp is hidden behind that waterfall, and you saw that bubble that I ran through. There is a screwfish at the end here. So Super Pitfro named these the screwfish, which is pretty apt because they screw you over, because that guy doesn't always leave the wall. We don't know exactly what causes it, but I've noticed personally that if I am equal to his y-axis, so if I'm in line with him, he seems to move when I go back through the tunnel. So I always try to make sure I'm slightly above and like sink into the hallway rather than enter it low. So that way it triggers him. I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. So if you get through this section and you don't have enough health. If I don't have 2 health, I can't take the bubble. You just go low and then go straight up. That's a pretty significant time loss for this game, but it's not a big deal. It's better than dying. Dying takes about 5 seconds. Level 6 is probably the easiest stage in the game after 2, but it doesn't start off that way. And the reason it doesn't start off that way is that there's tons of lava and little hits of fire, and the fire kills you in 1 hit for some reason. But you want to take out your claws, kill that guy, and this guy here, you can run through him, and you'll save a little bit of time. Personally, I suggest jumping over him because things go wrong constantly in this stage, and if something goes wrong, you hesitate for just a brief moment, and you get hit by fire, you'll die before the end, because running through this guy on the world record route means that you're going to have 1 dot of health. So any extra damage you take to the stage will kill you. So I would suggest jumping over him. And you'll see that there's these red lines here. I use those to tell me when I can jump. So I do the shortest jump at that red line, I jump again at that red line, but a little bit higher. So once you cross that red line, you can kind of use these as visual cues. Now you notice I jumped off of here and not that platform, and that's because touching it will kill you. The moment it starts to fall, you cannot make that jump, and the fire kills you in 1 hit, so you've got nowhere to land except the platform you just left from. And I jump over here because there's another one of those. I would suggest going through here with save states, finding every single one of those, just kind of internalizing it. When I first started, I tried to like count the lines, things like that, but it doesn't work doing that. Instead, look for visual cues in the background. So like this big fire at the bottom, jump at the end, and you'll skip the drop section. And I'll point out each of the visual cues that I've used in the past. But at this point, it's all just feeling, and you'll get it pretty fast. So once you get past this guy here, you come to the first major breakpoint in this stage. There are multiple routes you can do. The old route is jumping far at the edge to make this jump to land on this platform, then jumping like this, and then you fall off this top platform and then you continue through the stage. If you're in a marathon and you feel like you need a little bit of an edge, this is the only door you should need. There's 2 burgers here that will fill up your health. There's a 1-up, so this is the second 1-up you would get in a marathon run if you're needing extra lives. But the big one is this free game. This is a continue, so that is 3 lives. You don't need to look for any other 1-ups, you don't look for any other continues. This is the only extra door you need. When you exit the door, you're invincible for a little bit, but you would drop down like that and just continue this way. The second route, and what I currently do in my runs, is I jump up here and I run through that guy, and then I fall and I'll land here. The difference in time between all 3 of these routes is very, very small, almost insignificant, so it's really a matter of preference. But I kind of like going the bottom route and then going up these stairs. Now, if you fall straight down, you can actually get a burger there, as long as you watch out for that one, and again, it's after the big fire. You're going to have a little bit of extra health, and here's some extra health there. So if you're in a marathon run and you try to jump and you miss this, you can do that. So let's say you need that 1-up and the continue. If you fall and you die, you will spawn back up top. So make sure that if you're doing this and you miss, you hold left so that way you land in the fire. Then you'll die, and then you can try the jump again. Now all is well. You get your stuff, and you're out. So once you get to the exit point here, you get to a place that I call the fire stairs. And the fire stairs is what will rip your run the most once you feel like you know the game. It's because you want to jump between these as quickly as possible, but they're shooting bursts of fire that actually do a significant amount of damage, and if you touch them at all, you immediately die. So like this kills you, and when you respawn, if you're holding right, you immediately die, because Wolverine's weak against fire. So hold left if you're scared, or just don't press anything at all when you die. So if you press nothing, you're fine, and then you can full jump and jump over. If you have a ton of trouble with the stairs, what I would suggest is running into the edge and then jumping. So run to the edge, jump. Run to the edge, jump. And just do that for all of the blank stairs. So like, don't land on the stairs that have a fire. Then you only have one to jump over, or one of these stairs to land on that has a fire. And that just reduces volatility. But what I found that works for me is listening to my controller, and I press it like a heartbeat. So it goes, it's like bump, 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 bump. See if I can do it. I'm gonna die in the fire stairs. So that kind of rhythm, I don't even pay attention to what Wolverine's doing, I just listen to the rhythm. And you have a little bit more leeway than you think. So practice with the rhythm, just make a save state like right there, and just do this. When you get to the top, you want to move left and jump over this little gap here. And if you look below, you can see that there's these little red hangy things. This red hangy thing shows you where the first safe spot is. So I always try to land there, then you jump, and let's get the timing right. If you have your timing right, you can jump and you land and you kill that guy. So once you get here, you're at the final stretch. You want to jump and land on this little red hangy thing because there's another drop. And you want to run right up to these little tiny fires and just do a short hop over them. And as you land, you can kill them. So right here, there's another falling area. Not very good, you fall in the lava, but down below there's a visual cue. There's a little tiny fire at the bottom. So you just jump on the red thing, jump over the fires, jump at the little fire, and jump twice, so that way you can just kill that guy. There's no falling things after you jump over the one here, but you jump again to kill that guy. And once you get here, you can jump as far as you can, and you just mash your attack button. I can do this. You just mash your attack button. This is to get rid of extra health, because you're about to be at the end of the stage, and you want as little health as possible, because you might have some Berserker built up. If you have trouble dying from this point forward, don't do that. You won't lose that much time. This is just an optimization. So as you go through here, you are up against a decision. There are two paths you can take. The intended route is you jump like that, kill this guy, jump over, and then you just kind of fall down these stairs, and you go in the door. You can also do, I haven't done this in forever, so I don't know if I can do it. You can also do something like this. You can jump from here, and then jump on that platform. Grab the 1-up, and then go through the door. That does save time, and you use that platform up above as a visual cue. So see that red hanging thing? It's kind of pointing down at the 1-up. So as you go up here, if you're doing this in like a race or marathon, you just kind of get underneath the hangy thing, and then you grab the 1-up, go through the door, and it's free. What you want to do, and I would suggest practicing this because it's a huge time save, is you run to the edge here. This also falls, by the way. You run to the edge and you jump, and you want to land on this corner. And you gotta be fast because this fire plume will do a lot of damage to you. But you jump straight up and then tap to the right. So if I show my controller, so I'm jumping straight up and then immediately tapping right. So I'm not jumping like that, because if I did, I'm gonna take a step when I land. I'm gonna fall into that giant fire. And even if I jump as early as possible, I'm still going to hit that fire as long as I'm constantly holding right. So instead, you jump, land, and then jump right. So it's tap tap. You can grab the 1-up if you want it, and then you just walk into the door. If you have really low health, you can jump over that green guy. Level 7. This stage has several green guns and tornado guns up that shoot these bullets, and this is really frustrating when you're trying to go through the game and not have a death in this stage. But if you get frustrated with the stage, just remember, you're only going to lose like 5 seconds to remove all of the RNG in this stage. So keep that in mind as I'm talking about ways to prevent yourself from getting shot. If you just say, I'll take a death near the end of the stage, you lose 5 seconds, you move on. So in a marathon setting, if you're practicing multiple games, you can just practice this taking a death at the end, and you're going to lose 5 seconds and you'll be fine. You're going to take out your claws. You want to jump and kill that green gun when it's facing like this. So it's going to move down, and you can see its sprite change position. When it's pointing down and left, camera's mirrored. When it's pointing down and left, you want to kill it in that position, and only that position. If you kill it late, you're going to get a different pattern. You don't want to miss either because you get shot. Right, take out claws. So you want to kill it in that position, and then we're going to go up this top route, and you want to kill that gun in the same position. So you have to jump a little late, and then once you land here, you're going to want to do a soft jump, and then a full jump. So it's probably a bad save state. Yeah. But there you go. So if you do the soft jump and run to the edge and do a full jump, you should be able to dodge the shot that that gun gives you from every pattern except for one. If you have trouble with that, just wait, and it's easy to dodge. So there, dropping and stabbing that guy is not too complicated. You just kind of hold right and punch. You press down to crawl. This is the only time you actually have to do it in the game. I like to turn off my claws because it saves health. When you get to this section, you want to be as quick as possible because those missiles do 2 damage. So if you're slow for whatever reason, you're going to take extra damage, and any extra damage in this stage is probably going to mean a death at the end. But timing this can be pretty hard. So if you don't want to time it, you can just mash. And you're going to make it through every time. You won't be optimal, but it'll be fast enough to dodge the missiles. Once you get to this section, you kind of fall in line with the guns. I like to fall the left of them, so that way if the tornado comes out, it doesn't hurt me. And you want to land on either this platform at the bottom, or this one up here. Now the one at the top is a little more dangerous, because if you jump too high and you hit your head, you're going to fall and land in the spikes. So you need to do a short jump when you do that. That one is way easier because you can just wait till you're past the gun and hold right. It's a good visual cue. So head passes the second gun, hold right, and now it's a free jump. You don't lose very much time by doing it. And you can do a full jump from there, as long as you don't jump from the edge, and you're fine. You're going to want to fall down here. It's a little bit of a maze. There's bunches of doors and like hamburgers and things you can pick up. You don't need any of them. When you fall down here, there's a gun here that can shoot you 0, 1, or 2 times. And we hate this gun because he ends our run all the time. But if you don't need the extra 0.1 or 0.2 that you gain just by holding forward, you can just wait and go. And that's all you have to do. So here you want to jump at that yellow line. So if you look in the background, right here, there's kind of like that blue diamond sticking out. You want to jump when you're touching the second line. And you will dodge the projectile, and ideally you take no damage. But even still, I took barely any at all. You don't want to do that, because you take 2 damage from the missile he shoots. So jumping earlier is always better than later. Here you want to short hop and kill that guy. And there's going to be a series of spikes you jump over. And this is something you never want to do. See, I dropped it at the very end, but those are all pixel perfect jumps. You just jump at the edge, and you can make it to the platform on the other side. You just have to jump from all the way at the edge. Odds of failing that are very high, and if you do it perfectly, you lose more health, and it saves 0.3. So not 3 seconds, 0.3 seconds. What you do instead is you stop, and then you just right and jump at the same time. So what I did when I first started is I ran off, and I held left. So that way I would land on this and not fall in the spikes. Because when I started, I played on emulator, there was frame delay, and I would do this sometimes, which wasn't very good. You can hold right and then left, or you can just let go of right and drop. Either one works. And then you get to the climb. This is the single largest time save, probably in the game, is doing the climb properly. So when you get to this, you want to keep your jumps as short as possible. This takes a lot of practice. I'm messing it up already. And when you get to this section here, you can go here and jump like that, but this gun will shoot you almost every time. So there's a manip we found where you full jump like this, and that gun is actually spawned. It might not be on the screen, but it's spawned, and so its timer is running, and its pattern changes. And then you can make it through without getting shot. There are certain patterns where doing the manip will cause you to get shot, but those are all if you're moving much slower than normal, and you'll get to know them pretty soon after you start running the game. So you do the manip, you move through, and when you get to the top here, there's going to be a tornado that chases you. So when you do this, you can just jump and run through a tornado, and depending on where the tornado is compared to where you are, which is determined by how fast you did the climb, you can take barely any damage at all. This is a time save. What I like to do is I wait at the edge, and then I jump. So I dodge the tornado, which is just hard from the save state. It's actually very easy to do. But that saves your health, which allows you to continue to run. The rest of this is a pretty scary area. You can try to shorten your jumps. I don't suggest doing it. Just jump as much as you need to. There's a hamburger over there, but it is a trap. If you ever go to grab it, you're probably going to get shot by that gun. So every time that I've gone to grab it, I either have to wait for it to fire, shot me anyway, either have to wait for it to fire and then go, or I get shot and lose 2 health anyway, so it's not worth it. There is a manip for that gun, which almost always ensures that it does not fire. So when you get here, you just jump, and you just jump straight up, and you wait right on the edge of this platform. straight up, and I was on the right side, you want to be on the left. Did I break the music? I guess I did. But you want to be on the left side of that platform, and ideally he doesn't shoot you. So far I haven't had him shoot me in a run and I don't remember how long. But you just hesitate for a moment, and once you see the head of the gun move from the right side, you can continue. This final section changes based off whether you have claws or not. I didn't wait. So you jump over that guy to dodge his missile, and I'm able to kill these guys because I have claws. If I don't have claws, you want to do a full jump over them, and you see that I only lost a tiny bit of health. It's like a quarter. And this is kind of the route you'll take if you have no claws. You just do a full jump over all of them. And you can see that I have 1 dot on G health right now, and I started with like 2 bars and 2 dots. So I lost 2 bars and a dot going through there without claws. With claws, you just kind of move forward, stay on the top. You take a hit from the gun if you need to, it doesn't matter. And you try to time your jumps, and it's fine. When you get to this section, you're just going to run through these guys. The bottom guy requires at least 3 bars to run through safely. The top guy I never pay attention to. If my health is low, I just jump over him. If you get to this point and you have no health whatsoever, you have like 1 bar or 1 dot, and you say, how am I going to do this? Just wait, like this. He'll hesitate, and then you can jump over him. Don't jump too high, or that'll happen. But you can jump over them without taking damage, and you can actually do that. Did I just do it? No, I did not. I took damage. You can actually jump over them without taking damage. It'll look like you're taking damage, but you jump through without taking it. One of my previous runs has that, but it's pretty hard to do. There it was. I wouldn't try recommending it. I would just wait for them to fire and jump over them. Most of the time you take a death in that top section if anything goes wrong in the stage. You lose about 5 seconds and then you move on. And you can actually save time taking a death over doing the no claw strats at the end. Like if you have to wait to jump over those guys anyway, just take the death when you get to the top section and then just blast your way through. So level 8, I'm only going to show 2 strategies for this. There's 3. If you watch White Hat's run or the TAS, you'll see the strategy that I'm not going to show. That strategy is actually the fastest, but it's incredibly difficult to do and very frustrating, and it doesn't save as much time as it should for how difficult it is. But in this game there's something called Berserker, and I'll just go ahead and get it here. So if you kill enemies, your Berserker bar fills up. This is the only stage that you actually use it. When your Berserker bar fills up, you will lose control. So I'm not pressing the attack button, but he attacks on his own. And this includes standing attacks, which is really frustrating because he just stops and does a full second of punch, kick. That this stage is built around getting Berserker and hoping it works. So keep that in mind as we do this. So the main strategy is going to be killing the right people, maintaining your health, and getting Berserker at the end and it going correctly. If you fail in maintaining your health and getting Berserker, all you'll do is take a death at the end. And that was the old strategy that we did. And it's way more consistent than getting Berserker, so I would suggest doing that until you find it's a time loss you can't have anymore. So to start off, you want to jump here, and you want to bounce off that corner if possible, just like in level 2. So I'm not getting the bounce here, I want to show it to you at least once. So that was the bounce, and you want to land on that platform. and you just kind of flick your A and B buttons to kill that guy. And at this point, you want to grab this hamburger and you want to jump right at the edge, and you'll take no damage from this. It'll look like you are, but you're taking no damage from that tornado. Looks like I'm taking like, oops, taking like almost a full bar. Yeah. If you are worried about taking damage, you can just kind of wiggle like that. So that's a way to guarantee that you're going to have enough HP to move on. So this, there's a frame perfect, or not frame perfect, pixel perfect jump you can do. You want to jump and land on this black line. So you see that like there's kind of diamonds on this platform. There's also a black line right there. If you jump off that black line, you can land on the edge of that green platform here. If I can get it. And you can land on this platform here with one jump. This saves you some time and it saves you some health. It's not easy to do, especially if you're like finally getting to stage 8 and like, oh, stage 7 played along, and you get here and your heart's pounding and you're like, oh, I missed it. If you miss it, you lose close to half a second. Not quite, but close to it. So what most people do is they will just jump, 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 jump. And I think the time loss for that compared to getting the jump is 0.3. So if you're trying to tally like how much time you're going to save, that is the most consistent strategy. You're either losing 0.7 compared to getting the frame per average jump, losing 0.3 compared to the jump, or you're getting the jump. But if you go for the jump, then you miss it, you're going to lose over half a second. But however you want to do it, when you get up there, you want to kill that guy, and you can just hold forward here and land. It's faster to do a short hop like that, but only if you don't bump your head. Here you run through that guy, and at these rocks, if you hold forward, sometimes you walk over like that, other times you get stuck in this pit. So what I like to do is I walk off the rock and I hold left and immediately jump. So I just do that. And when you get off the rock, you want to jump up here, kill that guy. And this gun on the ground is shooting tornadoes. It should never hit you, but when you jump over it, you want to land here, and you kind of want to do like a middle height jump, because if you do a short jump, then you land on this platform. It's like a conveyor belt. It's sending me towards these spikes, and then you end up having to do something like that. Or even worse, you do a short jump and you land, and then it zooms you forward and you fall on the spikes. That happened to me all the time. So what you do instead is you do kind of a medium height jump, and you'll land towards the center, and that will give you an extra boost on this conveyor, and then you can jump off the edge of that. Here you just follow the bottom, and when you kill this guy up top, you want to fall and land on this. This damages you, and it's a unique kind of damage in that it doesn't damage your berserker. So if you take damage from like normal means, you can see my berserker will fall. But if I come up here and I land on this, my berserker stays full. This is very good for this stage. Let me get a better save state here. So if you want to save health, you can do one of those. You just kind of have to wiggle. You can also, when you get to killing that guy, rather than falling here and taking a little bit of damage, you can jump. That's a bad save state. You can jump off of that, and you don't lose all that much time for doing it. So every time you see these situations where you gain a little bit of time, lose a little bit of health, if you're dying at the end, just remove them one at a time, and the stage will get way more consistent. So once you kill this guy here, this is where you need to look at your berserker and you need to look at your health. If your health is below the G line, you're in trouble. If your berserker line is above where it is now for me, like that line between R and K, I'm kind of borderline. If your Berserker is too high, like if you killed something extra or you didn't take damage that you normally do, you'll get Berserker too early and you'll lose time. And if it's too low, you won't get Berserker at all. And if your health is too low, you'll get to the end and you won't have enough health for claws to kill people in one hit. So you want to kind of look at your health and play through this a few times. I would suggest a save state from here and just practice what to do if you don't have the right health of Berserker. But from here, if you walk forward, there's a guy that's going to shoot you. This platform above uses a visual cue. You just kind of jump once you reach that platform. It's like not a short hop, like that's the shortest jump. So one above it. And then you will dodge it every time. This guy here, if you have too much health or too much Berserker, you can run through him. You don't want him to shoot you, but you can run through him, and then you only take a little bit of damage. This actually saves time and is part of the fastest route to the stage. I don't do it in the world record run, because if anything goes wrong and you run through this guy, your run's over. So I like to jump over him. I suggest you do as well. When you get here, it's very important to jump very quickly, so you don't get shot, and you can skip those tornadoes. So this is just jumping the moment I land. It takes a little bit of practice to do it, but if you make a mistake like that, like you run into it and you made a mistake, you have to sit and wait for that tornado. So you want to kind of make that cycle. That's one of the first major time saves in this stage. If you want to wait for the tornado, it doesn't really change anything else, it's just a little bit of a time loss. And then you get to a very frustrating, section of the game when you're first learning. So you go through the entire length of the stage, except you're on the very top, which means if you do something like this, you have to go all the way back through everything you just did. Except now your health and Berserker is messed up, so you are going to have to take a death at the end. So you don't want to fall. How I started learning this is I would watch Wolverine's feet. Wolverine can actually just stand kind of hovering off the edge. It actually talks about it in the instruction booklet. His foot could just be off. The moment both feet are off, he will fall. And so what I'll do is I watch his feet, and when one foot is off, that is a good visual cue to jump. Once you've done it a few times, it's all just muscle memory. So these two guys here, if you jump too quickly, they will shoot you and do 2 damage. So you don't want to jump as quickly as possible. You want to kind of land, hesitate for 1 beat, and then go. This guy here is kind of an alternate that you can kill. So if you get here and you look at your Berserker and it's not high enough or your health is too low, you can kill him and then you can move on. Generally, you're going to want to jump and just run through him, and this is important because it lowers your health and Berserker. You can see my Berserker has lowered a little bit. This allows me to... Oh, I actually have too much. So this allows me to kill the enemies. Got Darvelin, thank you for the 10 bits. Oh my god. So this allows me to kill this guy and not have Berserker. So right now I have too much. And having too much here is not good. But right there is where you want to get Berserker. Each time you kill an enemy, you're gaining 2 bars. So if I look down here, I can see when I kill this guy, I'm going to have Berserker. The last 2 bars are going to be underneath the R and right next to the arrow. So if you kill a guy, and there's a line between the E and the R, the next 2 are going to fill up Berserker. I should have taken, like, any damage at all. So this is what it normally looks like. I can take some damage from Berserker. So normally you get here, and you want to drop down so you don't take damage from the tornado. And when you get on this platform, if you jump and hold forward and you stab right as your foot kind of touches that, you'll be able to kill the enemy as you jump, and you don't have to do a standing. You used to do that. Every standing punch costs 0.3 seconds, so you don't want to do that. Once you get Berserker, you want to jump on each of these green moss tiles. And the reason you want to do that is that Berserker forces your jumps to be very, very high. So even if you tap like as lightly as possible, you're still going to have a very high jump. It's annoying, but that's what Berserker does. So you're going to make the jump no matter what, as long as you jump off of those green moss sections. It's also important to jump as quickly as you can, because if you run for a long distance, eventually he just stops you and starts punching, and you're going to lose a lot of time. Once you get Berserker here, your health no longer matters. You want to run up, and you want to stand next to this magnet beam, I guess, and just mash B. So you can cause Berserker to attack. If you run into Magneto or the beam, it will kill you, even in Berserker mode. You kill this magnet beam, and you kind of want to mash A here, so that way you can jump up here, and then you mash B, and then Magneto will die. Yeah, moving too close generally is not what you want. My visual cue was always Wolverine's like nose, I guess, his hat, like right where the slope starts. I always tried to move where when he was standing there, when he punched, he moved to the edge of the gray. When he's standing straight up, he'll stop punching for a second. When he's standing straight up, his nose is just kind of crossing that line. That's what I always looked for. And you don't have to be exact, because you just want to punch this thing, and then you kind of want to move forward and push it, so that way it dies. And then you can get to Magneto as quickly as possible. It takes 6 hits to kill the bar. And then you move on to Magneto. Yeah, this can ruin a run. If you somehow simultaneously die to Magneto, you still actually win, so don't reset if that happens. Then you get a long cutscene of sorts, and to get through the cutscene, you just want to mash A and start. So I just do this through every cutscene in the game, except for here. So the reason you don't want to mash here, let's see what he does. So we have a jumping Sabretooth, which is not the pattern I wanted to show you, but I can load a save state. So when you leave the Magneto stage, Sabretooth's pattern is locked in. However, he can react to your inputs, but his reaction is always negative. You can only make him do bad things. So you press nothing, you press like A or start to move through there, and you press nothing until watch your health. And I guess you can't pause the health bar. When you get 2 bars full, that's when I start doing something, because generally if he's going to do an action, he's already started it, which would be like him throwing a shuriken or him jumping. But you have to kind of be on the ball. You'll lose a second guaranteed if he does his short jump, and you lose 2 seconds if he does his really high jump, plus whatever time you lose in the actual fight. There's 3 ways to fight him. The easiest is you pull out your claws, and you just walk forward and you stab him. And every time you stab him, you're not doing damage, you're pushing him towards the edge. Now you can't mash. You have to kind of watch his feet. And you'll notice that the hitbox for these claws is actually way farther than the sprite shows, which is why we use claws in this fight. You don't have to use claws, you can do it like with your fists, but you'll see that he can jump out of he can jump out of your attacks, so you want to be as precise as possible. If you attack too early, that will happen. You'll hear the like you hit him, but he was in hit stun, so it doesn't count. This is the worst part of the game, because there's nothing you can do about it. You can have a perfect run up to this point, but you throw him off the cliff, and time is when he is fully off the screen. I would suggest doing the standing stabs, because you don't save that much time with the alternate strategies I'm about to show you. But if you want to save as much time as possible, you can go ahead and give it a shot. And you might actually find it easier. I now find these easier than the standing strat. So what I like to do is I pull out my claws, and I will do a jumping stab, standing stab, jumping stab, standing. And I just use the jump to move forward. And I found that that was easier for me to time after I practiced it for a little while. It's actually faster as well, because when you're doing this, you're constantly having to stop. And eventually he runs out of your range, and you have to spend some time walking forward without stabbing. This also increases the odds that he can escape and jump. Whereas if you jump, you saw that he tried to jump there, but because I was jumping, my claws extended more of a vertical range, and he wasn't able to get past. The third way is one that I don't do very often, and is the cast strat, and is this. Well, not that standing stab, it's just lots of really short jumping stabs. I don't recommend doing it. It's difficult to do, and when I was timing it, the most I could save off of my gold Sabertooth was 0.3. That was with a perfect Sabertooth fight, and I didn't get that all the time. So I would not suggest doing that one. But that is Wolverine in its entirety. So this is a longer tutorial than the game needs, but I just kind of wanted to point out visual cues, show how it's being played, and just have something there. So if someone was really interested in the game for whatever reason, and they wanted to know how things worked, they could see it. Really, you could just watch the runs, and it's just fine. But if you want to watch this, then there it is. Stream marker.